Hello, welcome back to the workshop. Hope you're having a fantastic day. You'll notice I have the cowboy hat on again. Yes, that's happening again. Anyway, today is going to be part 2 of a series that I'd like to continue as time goes on about how to start becoming a blacksmith, how to start your own little small business, and a little bit of the mentality around it, and a few tactics potentially along the way. Right. So I get a lot of questions. People are often asking me, how can I get started in this? How can I start this as a business? I want to do blacksmithing full time. How do I do it? Can you give me some tips? Can you give me some advice? And the thing is, like, it's difficult to give tips to an individual because we all want to do different things and we all have different goals. What I can say, however, to anybody starting a business is the following. So, if we remember the last video, I talked about the fact that providing value is exactly what you want to strive to do. You want to strive to provide value, because by providing value, that is how a transaction occurs with a customer. That's how you get money exchanging hands, which is a brilliant thing if you're trying to run a business. So that's one thing, talking about providing value. Yeah, it's making money, we get it, but I think a good place to start is to ask yourself, how much money do you want? And then to boil it down into some simpler numbers, some more easily digestible numbers. So say you want to make $50,000 a year. What is that? That's about 115 bucks a day or something. Say you want to make 100 grand a year. What's that? That's about 330 bucks a year, a day, pardon me. Say you want to make $1 million a year. That's about $3,300 a day if you're going to work 300 days in the year, right? Now have a think about these figures. Have a think about how much money you want to be able to sustain the lifestyle you want. Have a think about how much it costs to have a family. Have a think about your expenses in the future, what that might be. And set yourself a goal. But I would be less prone to think that setting a small goal is a good idea. I don't think setting reasonable goals is particularly smart, because naturally there are things that get in the way. There are unexpected costs, there are unexpected bumps in the road in the trajectory that we hope to take, and you can very easily not quite attain the goal that you're looking for. But here's where it gets important. Here's where I think the message becomes a little more powerful, is that if you're to set yourself a very high goal, and you're gonna take the action necessary to reach this goal that seems completely out of any sort of reality, out of any realm of rationality, because the goal is so big, right? You're gonna be putting in the amount of work that means that, okay, you were shooting for the stars, pardon me if it's getting a little corny, you were shooting for the stars, now you landed on the moon, well, it's a damn sight better than landing in the ditch one town over, right? I mean, it's a lot better. So at least shoot. Aim in the direction of something great, something fantastic, something incredible, something unbelievable. You're gonna end up in a much better place than simply aiming for average, simply aiming for, yeah, you know, comfortable enough. You know, there are always gonna be unexpected costs, and you don't wanna be raising a family worrying about food costs. You don't wanna be raising a family worrying about whether you're gonna be able to have a roof over your house the next month. That's not where you should be, and far too many people in the world, and even in the Western world, are living like that. So I would not aim for that. I would aim much higher. And this is where it then gets a little more interesting and a little bit more serious, is that when you're aiming really high, you gotta put in a lot of work. Myself, I'm aiming pretty high. I'm aiming very high. I've got wonderful ambitions, huge goals, great dreams with what I want to do in this craft, and the work that I'm putting in is kind of in accordance with that. 4 nights this week I've worked past 2 o'clock in the morning, pardon me. 4 nights out of 7 days. I mean, you know, I'm putting in the work. I was here until 4 o'clock this morning. It's now Sunday and 9:41 in the evening. I'm still in the workshop. I'm still working. My hands are still dirty. You know, I've got a class tomorrow that's starting at 8 o'clock. I'm putting in a lot of work. If you want to make something out of a craft that is, you know, it's often pretty difficult to make a living as a blacksmith. If you want to make something out of this where you don't have to worry about how you're going to be able to afford to have children in the future, or whether, you know, you can have 3 kids or 2 kids, or whether you can have 3 kids or 1 kid, you know, you shouldn't have to worry about stuff like this. You know, you should be able to have the life that you really want to lead, and that's going to be as a result of your hard work now, so that pays off in the future. So remember, if you want to have a business as a blacksmith, you got to put the frickin' work in. You know, this is a hard material, it's a hard trade, it's a hard industry. You know, put the work in. That's so key. You know, this isn't a joke. I don't mess around with this stuff. My entire life is my business, and I just want to tell you that that's not a bad thing. It's something that I'm just so thrilled by. I walk into my workshop every day, and yes, I hate mornings, so in the morning it's not so good, but really I'm thrilled. I'm excited. I'm thrilled every time I'm in this place. I'm thrilled every time I run a power hammer. I'm thrilled every time I hear back from somebody that has taken one of my classes and enjoyed it. I'm thrilled every time I hear back from somebody that's bought one of my hammers and is loving using it and goes on to buy however many more. That happens, and it's amazing, and it's completely heartwarming. And so this work, it's a life for me, and it's something that I just absolutely love, but I work hard. And if you do that, and if you're doing it with something you love, it's not a bad thing. Just remember, keep working hard. Okay. So, you gotta work hard, but in which direction do you work, right? Well, I think that something that is seriously important, especially now, as social media is starting to get saturated. As it's not as easy to build up a large and passionate following on Facebook, as their algorithms are not so fond of pages that aren't paying for ads. As it's more difficult to become a more prolific Instagrammer, as it's more difficult to become a prolific YouTuber, as the saturation in the marketplace of content increases, you've got to really work hard to get out there. That's what I do with these videos. I'm working very hard. I'm working very, very hard. I'm putting in a lot of work to grow my business in the future. And here's the next point. You need to be focusing on growth. That needs to be a big focus of your efforts. A big focus of your attention should be growth in the future. And I seriously believe this. And it's only not so long ago, it's only just a little bit before starting the vlog, that I realized what was more important. And what was more important to me was growth in the future rather than sales in the present. And so that's what I've sacrificed. I thought I was sacrificing it. The reality is, looking long-term, looking for future growth, dramatically increased my sales in the present, which was incredible, and it was heartwarming, and it's great to see that the long-term play, the long-term goal, and having a great, huge long-term ambition really does play off in the short term, and I know it's going to pay off in the long term, right? Well, this all comes down to marketing. So here's what I'm going to say. If you want to start a business as a blacksmith, or start a business as any small business person, I truly believe you should be spending 30% of your working effort into marketing. What I don't think you can do anymore is take a nice photo of something, post it on Instagram, and sit back and twiddle your thumbs and wait for people to come and contact you and do orders. You can't do that anymore. That's difficult. Very few people make it doing that way. And there are a few of these people that do very well doing it that way, and that is amazing, and that's fantastic. And that is all down to the quality of product that they're making, and the quality of the photos, and the quality of that marketing. But what you've got to do now is, you can't just put this photo out there and sit back and twiddle your thumbs. You can't just make a website and sit back and twiddle your thumbs. What you've got to do is you've got to get in the face of your client and say, hey, look at me. I can provide you something incredible. I can provide you an incredible experience. I can provide you with an incredible product. I'm going to provide you with years of happiness as a result of the work that I can do for you now. You've got to get in front of their face. That's what marketing's about. If I tell you that you need to spend 30% of your time on marketing, you're going to do it an hour a day, and then you're going to sit down and you're going to go, Alec, I don't know what the hell I've got to do right now. I'm completely lost. I don't know where to start from here. I don't know, I've done an hour of this stuff. I've posted in 3 Facebook groups. Where do I go from now? And this is why I think you need to spend 30% of your time on it. Because then from there, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be sitting down for another 3 or 4 hours. You're going to be thinking to yourself, okay, how can I reach somebody? How can I find somebody and get them to appreciate my brand and appreciate what I want to offer them? You've got to get that hunger for finding people and impacting them and providing them that positive value, because that's how you're going to get your customer. So focus on the growth. Put 30% of your time into marketing. And that doesn't mean take your 6 to 8 hour day and spend 30% of that time doing it. No, what? Take your 6 to 8 hour day and throw on another third. Put in the extra work and make that extra work be marketing. That's what I'm doing, and I can tell you from the bottom of my heart, it was the best decision I ever made for my business and for my own general happiness, was to focus on marketing and focus on the outreach. So put 30% of your time in there and make sure that 30% is added on top of the rest of it. Aside from that, just remember this is an incredible craft. And any small business that you want to undertake is going to give you a huge amount of joy when you do it. There's nothing more enjoyable than taking on an entrepreneurial venture like this and building it, something so fantastically human to build from the dirt. You know, this is what we're doing here. We're taking dinosaur juice, we're taking dirt that's been mashed into this bar, and we are building, you know, we're doing the things that our ancestors created the world with, and that's a beautiful thing. It's a fantastic thing. So work hard at this, set yourself some enormous goals, spend a huge amount of time focusing on outreach, focusing on finding your customer, and focusing on letting them know how it is that you can give them great fun and happiness and value. And of course, remember, it's just awesome. So go start a business, work hard at it, put every single second you have into growing it and make it fantastic. I hope you have a fantastic, fantastic, fantastic day. Thank you for listening to my ramblings. It's been a pleasure. This is something I'm so passionate about, and I really enjoy it when you guys ask me questions about business. I'm always happy to answer it in a video like this, even if I don't manage to type it out in the reply to the email. Thank you so much. Please do hit subscribe below. I make a video every day pretty much, and I have a huge amount of fun doing it. Thank you so much. Hit like, hit comment, share it with your friends, whatever you want. Hope you have a fantastic evening. I will see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye. Woo!